And there was a point where I was really low, I was like, this isn't going to work. Are we closing the doors? There's always negative content out there. And there's a big influence of really purposefully wrong stuff like clickbait. We have a responsibility to make sure we're doing everything safe.
I know people have customised the 1300s.
GS 1300. Oh, wow.
You'll probably be sick. What's the weirdest thing you've searched for on the internet?
We were trying to figure out the name of this particular Jedi in Clone Wars, and my little boy went, he's called Fisto. So I Googled Fisto.
Look away, son. Look away.
It turns out he's called Kit.
Down in the dirt.
Don't need to close this in any, or are we all right?
Whatever you want to do, pal. Fine. It's like a wide shot.
Okay.
Yes, looks lovely, mate. Yeah. Looks perfect. Very nice.
I thought, what's the point? What's the point in having a Chesterfield sofa in your office if you can't be interviewed on it?
I was just a way to say, look at you with your Chesterfield. That looks lovely. Mate, I wish I had a designer's eye. I mean, even that looks mint. I'm crap at all that stuff.
I don't like this. There you go.
Brilliant. How you been?
I've been ace, mate. I've been ace. How are you?
Yeah, tickety boo, man. Yeah. Same old, really. Yeah. Same old.
You're looking very well.
I'm looking too well, pal. Too well. I started back rowing this week, but I didn't post anything on my socials because I've had so many false starts. I just thought, you know what? Let's just get back into the swing of things and sort of get into the habit before you start broadcasting it to the world. So. But I've done the first row,
right?
And it hurt. Jesus.
Oh well, that's good. That's good. Maybe we have a chat about that because I've been working out hard as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to get healthy again.
Are you all right? Just to crack. I start recording the second I open this thing up, but we can start whenever. So if you're happy to just crack on.
Okay. Well, yeah. Don't put all that bit in.
It's what you call it. I think you should. It's. God, what's the word? It's natural, isn't it? It's just part of a conversation.
Yes.
There's nothing polished about this on my side, mate. There's nothing polished about this. Right, you got a beer going, so let me crack one open too. There we go. I'm on the ales now. I thought I'm talking to a northerner. I better get on the ales. There we are. Got a green king.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm actually on the Corona Zero.
Do you know I had some of that in my fridge?
Because it's hot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's nice. It's all right, that.
Yeah.
Slange.
It's all right, yeah. It's not too bad. Yeah, sorry, slange.
Close to your health.
Oh, are you freezing up a bit over this end?
Am I? It's all right. This is...
Yeah,
This is a bit of software called StreamYard that I'm using. It's a bit like Zoom. But why I've moved to it is that it records your video and your audio at your side and the same at my side. So it doesn't matter if the connection's a bit pants and it breaks and freezes through the chat. Once we click end and finish, it uploads everything. So there's like a full quality, uninterrupted version that gets sent to me. So it works so far.
Oh, that's good. That's very clever.
So we might break up a little bit as we chat, depending on interweb connection and stuff. But the end product should be all right. Should.
Awesome. All right, mate.
Right.
Wow, lovely.
Folks, if you've not figured it out, this is Jonathan Hull from Jonathan Hull and Sons Bespoke. Is it Bespoke Motorcycles or Custom Motorcycles?
Yeah, Bespoke Motorcycles.
Bespoke Motorcycles.
Yeah.
Back on. How you doing, pal? All good. I hope.
I'm good, thank you, Bruce, and it's lovely to see you again.
And you, mate, and you. So what have you been done since the last time you came on? This is like your third time on here, I think, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? I was trying to think what we spoke about. It crept up on me again. I know we've had it in the books for about a month, but it absolutely crept up on me.
You were just coming up. You were...
I remember having a bit of a rant about Elon Musk. But other than that, I can't really remember much of what we spoke.
You were in the build-up.
Hey, I was right though, wasn't I? Jeez.
Well, yeah, I mean the whole world seems to have gone to poo at the moment, hasn't it? It's just if you dive into it and believe everything that's getting presented to you, it's a very depressing place at the moment. So I'm trying to keep out of it as much as I can.
That's it, exactly. You just got to keep your head down and keep going.
That's it. You
Yeah,
are in the build up to the was it the Tobacco Dock show? You were just, I think, literally days away from that.
Oh, was it a similar time last year?
Yeah.
Then was it? Right. So I have just come back for one last month. The big difference was not long after, about 4 months after the show, I made a big decision about the business and the way we were going. And we closed the books for 6 months, and we rethought the whole business approach, the whole business plan. I've brought on board a partner who is excellent. And we thought between us, we decided we were going to go a different way. And that's where Northman comes in. As you know, I've spent sort of the last 7 or 8 years building everybody else's beautiful dream bikes for them, which has been great. But when I think about the things that I find really hard about that is, you're constantly working for somebody else. You're constantly working at a budget. You're trying to bring in your skill set and your design ideas, but the client always has a very specific idea about what they want, obviously. And I'm trying to take a step to get away from that with Northman. And without sounding arrogant, and I've said this a few times now, like an artist always does their best work when they're left to it and they're free from direction. And I'm the same. That's how I work. If I'm left to a project, I've been really lucky to have a couple of clients over the years that have just left me to it. The two I'm thinking of was the very first Northman, the CB550, which is why this company is now called Northman Motorcycles, which was one of my best bikes I've built. And the other one was this. The other client was the Hockenheim. So two of my most striking builds, two of my best builds, the ones I'm most proud of, and they came when I was left to it, and I had control. The client just said, I just want a Jonathan Hull bike. Here's the money, go build me a bike. And that's what Northman is. Northman's me now, building bikes that I want to build without client intervention, without strict budgets, and me being able to do exactly what I want. No time, no deadline.
Wow.
As such. So me just building bikes the way I want to build them, how I want to build them. And that's the dream, right? But the problem is that obviously that comes at a premium. And so it does make the bikes expensive. But hopefully when people see them, they can see why they are. And the first two prototypes, the CB200 and especially the GB350S, have gone down like the GB350S went pretty viral. I mean, it's all over the place. Everybody knows it. So I'm really proud of that.
Awesome, mate.
And it's a special look. They're special looking bikes. We're about to add the Hockenheim to the Northman collection. So where was I? We got in touch with the Bike Shed London, and I've got to give a shout out to Dutch van Semoren because he's been such a support. He loved the idea. He got right on board. He gave us the Bike Shed Shoreditch for a weekend to launch the Northman brand and the product. We had one of the arches all to ourselves. We did a live curtain off unveiling of the GB in front of all of their internet, followers, which was very nerve-wracking, especially when he asked me to start it live. That could have all gone wrong then, right? I never, I knew it was good, but it was still a bit of a bum squeaky
Yeah, I
moment when he said,
Yeah.
because you're not allowed to start them inside the bike shed. You can't have your bike running in there inside. That's the law. So I thought, we're safe. We're just going to do a curtain on. And he goes, well, I'm the boss, so I say, let's get it started. And we did. And it went first. The starter motor barely twitched. It just boom straight away. So I was very pleased. So the bike shed have been amazing. Dutch and Vicky, Gareth, 100% behind it. Gareth really loves it. He's the curator of the show. And then a month later, we were down at the show, but this time I had a trade stand for the first time. And the difference between just taking a couple of bikes down there and having them on display and having a proper space with a trade stand, and I had a big branded mirror wall with a TV screen going. The difference was amazing. Like, people were coming to me, coming and finding me and finding the stand and talking to me about it. And especially within the industry as well.
In what sense though? Like what? How do you mean?
Well, it felt like it was just like leveling up a little bit,
Yeah.
Instead of me spending the weekend trying to sell myself, which is what I've historically done. I stand with my bike and I talk to people and I chase people and I come and look at this, and it's exhausting. For the first time in the 5 years, this was my 5th year at the Bike Shed Show in the pro category. And it was the first time I felt like everyone wanted to come to see me and me not chasing everybody. And that was really humbling and really exciting,
What a feeling, pal. You've arrived, eh? Is that how it felt?
Yeah, it was. It was really good. I mean, it was expensive. It was hard work. It was a long weekend because you're not allowed to move away from your stand. You have to be on it all the time. So I didn't get to see a lot of the show. But when I had people like the CEO of Hedden walked through, and he walked back, and then a couple of minutes later he walked through again, and he kept looking over. And my friend Stuart, he goes, "Who's that guy in the fancy suit? What's he doing?" And then all of a sudden he decides to walk over, and he introduced himself. "Hi, I'm the CEO of Hedden. I'd really like you to make a helmet. I'd really like to make a helmet for you to match that bike." I was like, okay. Yeah, this is exciting. So, yeah. So, there, things like that going on, which was really nice. Really, really quite, like I said, humbling and exciting.
Dude, things are on the up.
And then it was all been about, well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, we're only doing 5 of each bike. We've only got 2 models up now, but this one's coming up. And we're going to do the original Northman, the CB550 as well. So we've got one in every class then. We've got a 200, we've got a 350, we've got a 550, we've got 1,000. That's the idea. So we're only ever doing 5 of each. They're all numbered, certified. They come with a little plaque with a serial number and my signature on them and all that sort of stuff, and a fancy certificate saying which number you've got. So we're doing all of that. We've got 3 CB200 slots left out of the 5, and we've got 2 GB350S slots left. So I'm just about to start another GB350. In fact, you've probably seen I've been madly trying to print.
I saw the new 3D printer. Yeah.
Oh, mate, we'll have to talk about that in a minute because that's a whole nother ball game. That, so it is exciting, and I'm hopefully things are on the up, and it's a change, but it means the target audience has changed. It means we're shooting, for the people, the collectors, and and the people with money, I guess, without sounding vulgar. You know, and it's all about that thing where you're not chasing a budget all the time, because there's nothing more crippling than wanting to do something as a builder, but you can't because you can't put the price in. So then you make the decision, do I do this for free or do I not do it? And that's a horrible place to be when you're trying to create something beautiful all the time.
I've known a lot of people and mates as well who've got their own businesses in a variety of different sectors and niches, not just bikes, but outside of that, all sorts of different things. And the amount of them who were struggling by, and they were trying to help mates out as much as they could, mates rates, and they were trying to be competitive at the pricing. And eventually, when the way they made it big was by going, do you know what? We're going to move away from like this generic market, and we're going to target the higher end. So they just niche down on the higher end stuff where you can charge a premium because you're producing a premium product and you're actually getting the rewards for that premium end product that you're producing. And they were all like, at that market, people aren't quivering going, oh my God, how much for a bike? They're actively looking for you. They come to you as a customer, and it's almost like they're just going,
that's exactly it.
Don't worry about the price. I want your product.
And it was exactly the same in the bike shed. And that was one of the things that I noticed straight away is when you're in conversations with people, and I like just chatting to people. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're interested in bikes, I'll talk your hind legs off and I'll tell you everything I can about the bikes. But then when you've got the sort of selling head on and you're thinking, is this a client or is this just somebody having a chat? Now, the people that come up to you and the first thing they want to know is how much it is. And then when you tell them, they're like, oh, that's a lot of money for a GB350. They're not your client base, right? They're not. They're straight away, that. They're just interested in the bike, the build. The people that come up to you and they want to know everything about it first, and they're going, wow, right, I really want one of these. They're amazing looking things. They don't ask you the price until right at the end. And then most of those people said, well, actually, I expected it to be more than that, I am trying to target the upper side of the market. Obviously, with Northman, it's all about luxury. But I'm still insistent that I'm 33%. I always have been, right? And I've always been steadfast. I don't discount that. That's me. That's labor. That's what I get paid. So it's always, my prices are always what the bike costs plus 33%.
It's fair enough.
So, the Northman GB350S comes in at 12 and a half, nearly £13,000 before I get my spanners out. That's just in parts. So by the time, and the donor bike, of course. So buy the donor bike, parts on top of that, and then 33%, there's your price. And I don't think, I'm not inflating that any, and that's a very sort of industry standard sort of fee for a labour charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
To build
Do you find, have people got an actual appreciation for I don't suppose you've got headphones, do you? Because I keep getting the echo, like the delay of me coming out over your speakers.
I do, but they're great big things.
Bear with us, folks. So, are you enjoying the podcast? If you are, please let everyone you know about it. Sharing at the moment is the biggest trigger for the algorithm. Obviously, you need to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But if you can just tell one mate about the podcast, share it across to them, that helps tenfold. I love doing the podcast. I'm really trying to grow it this year, and you can help me out by doing that. So I'll love you forever if you do. Whilst I'm on the topic of support, folks, the only reason I can do the podcast and the YouTube channel and everything like that full time is because of my Patreon. In the clan itself, we do meetups, we do live streams. You'll get early access to the vids. You get first choice on the questions on this podcast. And you'll also get exclusive early access to my chicken strips tours when they're released. If you want to check it out, head to patreon.com/TeapotOne. And if there's anything there that takes your fancy, feel free to support me over on there.
Look at that. There you go.
How's that? Proper podcast now, man. It's like you're on Rogan, just
is that better?
Just not. I won't. I can't hear the echo now that you've got them on.
Okay, cool. All right, I just
all
looked
right,
at it.
lovely job. No, you don't. You don't. Do you find people have an appreciation for what's actually involved in custom building a bike? Like, do you think they actually realise the time, work, expertise, like the level of craftsmanship, and not only that, but also the build-up to get to where you are? You know, this isn't an overnight thing. You spent years honing your skills to get to where you're at. Do you think they appreciate that?
Well, you know what? I'll start with this little anecdote. My wife, every so often when I finish the bike, she's the first to know, right? And it used to be when I was at home building in the shed, she'd know a bike was finished because she'd hear the horn. You should hear me testing the horn, which is always the last thing I do.
Yeah.
So now when I'm in the when I'm down here in the workshop, I send her a video, and I do a video and I beat the horn. And she always says to me, she's been saying for a long time, she goes, "You weren't a bike builder when I married you. You were a school teacher." She says, "I don't understand how all of a sudden you can build these things, right?" And I'm like, well, it's been 7 or 8 years of my entire life studying it intensely, 24/7. If they did degrees in bike building, I'd have 2 and a master's by now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd have letters after my name. So it's not just happened, it's not just all of a sudden I was good at this. I have lived it for the last sort of 7, 8, 10 years, whatever. So yeah, there is that, obviously, that comes into it. And it's had its ups and downs and all that sort of stuff. I can't remember what your question was now. I went off on that little tangent.
Just do in general, do you think people realise the effort, the graft, the
right people?
I mean, you can pull on the heartstrings and say the sacrifice, but just what goes into building one of these bikes.
The right people see it, and the ones that you want to. I had an amazing comment the other day. This was the Northman GB350S, right? The bike nobody else has been able to build before. It's like, it's got world firsts in it, we're 90% sure. Somebody just left a comment saying, "Oh, it's just a Honda with a fancy badge on it." It's like, I screenshotted it because I was just laughing my head off. It was like, yeah. So some people know, they obviously don't, but the right people do. And the fact that with that bike, even Honda couldn't quite believe what I'd managed to do with it. Because I worked with Doble Motorcycles who are delivering me another one. They're bringing their team up to deliver me another one. I'm going to do a video, do some YouTube, some Instagram stuff.
Doble from South London? Like
That's who supplies my bikes for me.
Wow.
They used to be Bike Parts Honda, which is why I built up a relationship with their parts team. And then, they've been supplying the GB350S for me. So I was working with them and Honda because it was important for me, if I'm going to work on a brand new bike, fresh out the factory, I wanted to be able to retain as much of the Honda warranty as we could. And I know that if I started chopping frames up and remapping ECUs and all that sort of stuff, it voided the warranty completely. So Honda were like, okay, well, we'll still warranty the engine as long as you don't mess with it and as long as you don't remap the ECU. And I said to them, well, I'm going to do a airbox delete, full airbox delete. They said, you can't do that, it won't start. And I went, why not? Because all the sensors on it and the ECU won't let it. It'll either won't start or it'll just throw up engine lights until it fails. And I said, well, I want to put a straight through back box on it as well. And I said, you can't do that either. There's pressure sensors after the cat that's going to stop you doing that. So I said, well, if I do figure it out, will you still warranty the engine? And they said, well, as long as you're not remapping the ECU, then yeah. So I was like, okay, well, give me a month or so. I'll get back to you. And I figured it out. Instead of, I don't want to give away the secret because everyone will be doing it, but instead of approaching it from a remapping computer point of view, we approached it as an engineering point of view. And the bike thinks the airbox is still there, and the bike thinks the back box is still there. We've just not through any electrical changes. It's all airflow in and out.
Don't go into it any further.
Yeah, so we've
give away your secrets.
Managed to match the airflow going in and out, so the bike still thinks the airbox is still in it. And that's allowed us to delete the airbox, it's allowed us to delete the battery, and you can see straight through the bike, which
it's a really striking aspect of that bike, isn't it? It really is. I don't know the first thing about that bike or what the significance of that is. It was only because you did a post when you figured it out, and I'm reading the comments. The people that did were like, "Holy shit! How have you done that?" And that drew my eye. You know, like, oh right, this is a significant thing. This.
Yeah, well, it's old school engineering. That's all it is. Old school engineering approach, and just time to figure it out. It took 6 months and about $2,000 worth of research and development, but we got there in the end. And then of course, the reason is, I mean, because I wanted it to look like one of my bikes. And I'm a minimalist builder, right? So I'm frame and engine. Now on a 1970s carburetor Honda, that's easy. You just take the airbox out, stick some pod filters on, tune the carburetors, and it's away. But when you've got a brand new bike that's fuel injected and ECU controlled, then it's not so easy as doing that. And but like I said, we figured it out. And then it was a case of making it look pretty. So once we'd got the engineering side of it, how do we make it look pretty? Because again, I didn't want to chop up the frame because we avoid the warranty on it. So I had to use all the stock sort of nuts and bolts positions. And we designed the frame insert that goes in either side and mimics the shape of the inside of the frame. So we
and this is where your 3D printer comes in. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we 3D scanned the bike and the bike frame, and then CAD modelled the insert, and it took a long time. It took about 7 prototypes, PLA prototypes, to get it right, and then eventually we hit the right one, and sent it off for printing. But the guy we sent it to down south was like, he was full of confidence, you know, and he sold me in the first meeting we had. And I had to get him to sign non-disclosure agreements and all this sort of stuff because I knew this was, you know, I didn't want this getting out. So and he was quite excited, saying, yeah, I can do it. But then like a few weeks would go by and I'd not hear anything. And then I'd get, we can't do it this way, so we're going to do it this way. And they really struggled with the model because he kept saying it's not designed to be printed. It wasn't designed to be printed. And I was like, well, I printed a full-size bust of my own head the other day. I'm pretty sure my head wasn't designed to be printed. Being dead cheeky. Do you know what I mean? I did a Messier eye of my own face and like printed it out for me mum on Mother's Day. So I was going to say, I don't think my mum was planning me 3D printing my head when she made me. But and this whole process cost me over £700 just to get it printed. It already cost me a couple of grand in research and development. So I was like, I can't be I cannot be spending £700 and all this time if I'm building 5 of these. So instead, this time I invested the money in my own printer. But now I realize what those guys meant, like it's not an easy thing to print. It isn't. But I had whereas they didn't have the time because they were doing a million other jobs. I've had the time to sit and trial and test and perfect it. And yesterday, we absolutely nailed it. And it was, we got 2 perfect prints. I'm looking this way because I've got them here.
I saw your post on Insta where they combine together. Yeah.
So, I mean,
brilliant.
These are big parts, and this is being printed in nylon carbon fibre. So, and they go in either side of the frame, and they lock together perfectly like that. So
awesome,
nice bit of kit, right? And they're really light.
Yeah. Kalimoto. If you've not been using Kalimoto, you've not tried it out yet. I've been using it since about 2017, 2018 now. Brilliant bit of kit if you want to try and find new roads, either in your local area or you go somewhere new and you don't really know. You can just whack it on. You can check how twisty you want the ride to be. You can split it into different sections and have different sections have different twisty meter readings. So you could motorway it on one bit, do a bit of A-road on another, and then chuck it into the backcountry, massive twisty lanes, that sort of stuff for the rest of the journey. It's entirely up to you. Does take a bit of getting used to, so if you have any issues with it, please drop me a line and I'll help you out as much as I can. In the meantime, if you want to give it a go yourself, I've got a couple of codes for you. TeapotOne 10 will get you 10% off the annual subscription. TeapotOne 30 gets you 30 days of the full premium package. Massively helps me out as well, folks. Kalimoto have been one of my main channel sponsors for about the last 5 or 6 years now. So if you use my codes, it lets them know you've come from me. Okay, let's get back to the chat.
There's a lot of people that saw it at the Bike Shed show. Obviously, lots of people, especially the builders and the industry people, they all understood it straight away. But then you get a lot of people looking puzzlingly higher going, why is there a hole in it? And they instantly wanted to fill it with stuff. Could you put a phone charger in there? Or you could put some little doors on it and put your toolkit in. Or your sandwiches, maybe. And
as a designer, that must be like fingernails down a blackboard.
I thought it was really funny. They're all trying to fill it with stuff. So on the second day, I took my dumbbell. I had a dumbbell with 15 kilograms of iron weights on it, and I put it in front of the bike. This is on Saturday morning, and then that became the talking point. It's like, why is there a dumbbell on the floor? And I said, well, that's how much weight we've taken out of the bike.
Wow! So
we've managed to remove 15 kilograms from the stock bike. So it's now the lightest. It was already a light bike, but it's now the lightest in its class. It's about 3 or 4 kilograms lighter than the Triumph 400, which previously was the lightest in its class. So as a virtual horsepower gain, we've actually added 2 horsepower to the engine just by making it lighter. And that's the whole philosophy of the cafe racer boys of the 1960s. Take everything off the bike, make it as light as possible, get to the cafe before all your mates, because you're adding power. Everything you take off the bike is adding power to the engine, right? And that's what I got out of Innovation Racing. 2 years I spent with the racing team. And that was the biggest thing I came away with, I think, that was power to weight ratio and the importance of it. So we've not just made a pretty bike. We've made a better bike. It's lighter, it's more nimble, it's more powerful, it steers better, it's more comfortable, And that was what we wanted to do with Northman.
What did Honda make of it, if I can ask? What did they make when you came back to them and said, I've done it, I've found a solution?
Well, they were like, oh, wow, okay. I was like, all I'm interested in, are you still going to... I explained to them how I did it. And I was like, you're still going to honour the warranty? And they were like, yeah, of course we will. Very clever, well done. Doble love it. So what we're doing a week on Tuesday is Doble Motorcycles are coming up with their social media guys, and we're going to put the new one next to the old one, and the Northman next to the new factory one, and do a bit of a video because it's they look very different, right?
Oh wow! I can't wait to see. Can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Are they going to bring
Are
they going to bring the new one down to their dealership?
The Northman. No,
Yeah.
I've not talked to them about taking one down there. This one that I've got in stock at the minute already has an owner, so that
Got you. Of course, yeah.
I've just been lucky enough to keep it for a while. So that needs to go, and I need to get on with building the next two. So yeah.
So explain to us, how does the new Northman business then? How does that work? So you've actually you're going to have five of these Northmans, all of each class. You're going to have them. That's a set build, and then you just get a numbered variety of it, or can people customize them as well?
We're selling build slots. So 5 available build slots, and I'm publicly committed to only ever building 5 of each. I said, numbered and certified. So what you do is you buy a build slot. The first run is January delivery, and then it will be August, 6 months on the GB 350s and the CB 200s. So 6-month build slots. So I've got some available for January. So you buy a build slot. It's a 10% deposit to hold the slot. And then at the start of the build slot, it's 60%. And then the final 30 on delivery, which is similar to how I've always worked. So it covers the 60 covers the build cost. And then the final payment is, my 33%, my 30%.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's how it works.
Exciting times, dude.
So I can get these pretty quick because now I've built, now the prototyping's done and all that, the work's gone into it. It's I can do a 6-month build slot because I can build 2 together, and I know what I'm doing now, and especially now I can print the parts, print these frame inserts in house, which is a big deal. Yeah. Have you ever done any 3D printing, Bruce?
Never. No. I've not dipped my toe into that. I know. Do you know Sam Vincent? Have you ever spoken to Sam Vincent, or do you know him? He's another YouTuber. He's pretty handy on the tools, cars and bikes, and he discovered 3D printing a couple of years ago, I think. Literally just went through the stage of 3D printing everything.
Well, what I've discovered, because I had a couple of little 3D printers I was just playing with, and it's great for printing out plastic toys, and I've like these articulated dragons, right? Brilliant for the kids. This has been printed out because it's my son's going to a birthday party tomorrow, so it's a little present for them. Printing out little things, but moving into industrial filaments and industrial sizes is an entirely different world. It's been an incredible learning curve. The temperatures that you have to get to, printing in nylon carbon fibre it's a whole different ballgame. And lots of well-meaning people, like I've posted online about me doing this, right? Lots of really well-meaning people, because they've got a little bamboo lab at home in the bedroom, printing out little, cosplay stuff and, and little models. And I'm getting all this very well-meaning advice on what I should be doing with this giant thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
different
well,
world.
that's kind of you, but this is like, if you're printing PLA at home, you're looking 200-degree nozzles and 50-degree beds. This is 300 and something degree nozzles and 120 degrees on the bed, and they've got to be like 80 degrees inside the cabinet. It's crazy. There's just the heat, and you have to maintain that heat for like 23 hours just to print one of those.
Bloody hell.
And it has
Greta
to be-
must be loving you then, is she?
Well, yeah. I mean, and it has to be constant. If it drops too much in temperature inside the enclosure, your print's knackered halfway through. So it has to be meticulously maintained. The bed has to be configured to win within thousandths of an inch perfectly. Otherwise, it's game over. So it's a tough do. But being able
that's
now
not the world for me, mate.
to have nailed it now and to be able to do it in-house, proper engineering prints. That's a big deal for us, I think.
You've got to be
not have
happy
to
where
find-
things currently are and the projections of things at the moment, mate. Because it's not that long ago you were working in a shed and then you took on the
It's
unit.
not, is it?
And I think the last time you came on here, you'd taken on the unit. I think you'd been in there a year or so, and things were moving on. And now look at you,
Yeah.
a year later, if that.
I mean, it's not all, there are months when I'm struggling, and there has been. And closing the books for 6 months was tough to get to this point again. But yeah, things are looking up, but it's been a lot of hard work. I mean, by the time I got to the Bike Shed show, I was on my knees, it was all encompassing. To get, not just to get the prototypes done, but have the business ready to go and the model and, the website, the back end, and get a team. I've never had the team behind me before.
It's always just been you, eh?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's always just been me in the version. But now I've got I'm working with Ravenworks. I've got the guys that do small scale CNC, do my badges, and I've had to get people. Tom Hurley always does my seats. He's been amazing, but
Yeah.
So it was getting all these artisans together, all these really skilled people, finding a new painter it's just amazing, Luke. The finish on the GB especially is just outstanding. Everything had to be the best. It's got to be luxury, I mean, I spent £700 on two tank badges. Even the Northman tank badges on the GB, on both bikes, they're solid brass. They're solid pieces of brass that have been machined out and then enameled, and the work that's gone into just those pieces.
But that's the detail and the craftsmanship that sets your products aside, though, isn't it? That's what elevates you to where you are. That takes you from, how much is that? Gosh, that's a lot for that bike. To I need one of them. when can I have it? It is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even doing the tubeless spoke wheel conversion on that, you're adding £2,000 to the build cost just to do that. By the time you've put the Andless clippers on as well, you're looking a couple of grand just to put spokes on it.
Bloody hell.
But we wanted to get the weight down, and they are tubeless alloy spokes with carbon fibre inserts, and they're beautiful bits of kit. And it's helped us get the weight down a bit as well. So, yeah.
It was interesting listening to you say there where there's been some up and down times. I think something I noticed becoming self-employed and having people such as yourself on here and, just talking with people who are making a go of things by themselves in business. Everyone goes through that. It's like success. This success that people see and measure you by, that comes through failure, doesn't it? Because for that one success, you can have 100 failures along the way, 1,000 failures along the way. People don't see all these times where you drop to your knees going, I don't think I can carry on with this. Like, the bills need to be paid. I don't know what's going on. And you just have to figure it out, get back up and start chiseling away again, don't you? And it's like, we'll get to it. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point last October the books had been closed for a while and I couldn't see, I still had the bills coming in. And there was a point where I was really low, I was like, this isn't going to work. Are we closing the doors? But yeah, and there are times like that. That's what provoked this change. This sort of reset of the business plan. And hopefully, touch wood, things are looking up. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy doing something you love. It's not easy remembering that you used to have a 45 grand a year job and you might have hated it, but the bills were being paid.
Yeah.
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 And you start questioning your choices. But then, then you have a few wins and it's all worthwhile again.
I get you, mate. I'm in exactly the same boat. I left a reasonably well-paid job that even if I got injured, I'm still getting paid. There was overtime, unlimited overtime in the area where I worked, in diplomatic, obviously, because they're never going to cut their budgets. And there was a big pension. And, more than once I've looked back and sort of questioned myself going, did I do the right thing here? When you're struggling at times. But on the opposite end, I make my living riding motorcycles in different countries around the world, introducing people to some of the best roads in the world, and I sit down and make vids about it. So,
it's amazing, mate.
I mean, yeah, you pinch yourself sometimes, don't you? Like when things go well, when you're going for it by yourself and whatever it is that you're doing, when things are going well, it's hard to believe that you're actually, this is your life, this is your job. But there's the opposite of that, isn't there? When you're just like, oh, shit, what have I done?
Yeah. I mean, there are times when, like now, I'm sitting here, I can see out through the door into my workshop, and I think, this is the best man cave anyone could wish for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I've got 800 square foot of man cave. But, my house, you go to my house, they wouldn't think there was a man living there. You come down here and it's amazing. But there are times when I walk out onto the balcony and look down and think, this is costing me thousands of pounds a month. Can I, how long can I sustain that? And that's what was going through my head last year,
Yeah.
So you can't.
But that can also fuel the fire, can't it? That can fuel that fire, the desire to, right, I've got to make this work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, but it's important that people know that it's not all, glamorous bike shows and photo shoots for Spada and all that sort of stuff and free stuff. It's not. It's, as you know, it's graft. It's real graft, and you live it 24/7. It's not like you can't turn it off so easily when you go home.
No, there's not a day off, is there? Because
not when you're self-employed.
Yeah, exactly. Because you've got the business to run, don't you? You've got everything that goes with that: marketing, accounts, just everything. Yeah.
And like a lot of mine's based on social media, so that side of it takes. I had to put a post up the other day saying, "Look, bear with me. I've had to, I've not put any content up for ages because I've actually had some work to do."
Yeah. I think I put a fair amount of socials up, but the amount of people that turn around to me, I haven't seen anything from you in ages, not seen a vid from you in a while. And I'm like, I'm still putting out a teapot vid once a week. I try and do at least one short for that once a week, the podcast, and, at least one reel a day for the podcast.
I see you plenty, but I think because I train my algorithm quite well to see the people who I want to see. Yeah. And if somebody drops off and I haven't noticed, because I'd notice if you weren't in my feeds, and I'd go and I'd make sure I played a few of your videos and train the algorithm. Oh, he's still interested in Bruce.
Top man, cheers.
But if for anybody else, it's so busy trying to feed you what it thinks you want to see. It doesn't show you. Even the people you follow don't appear in your feed. and you have to keep reminding it. So people do forget you. And I think that's certainly true of my feed if I let it happen. Because every so often somebody crops up and you go, oh God, I wonder what they've been up to. And then you look at the page and they've been posting, like you said, constantly. It's just, we've not been seeing it, you know.
YouTube is exactly the same. Exactly the same. The amount of accounts that, like you say, I try to make a point now of at least a couple of times a week, sort of like after like 9, 10 o'clock, normally about 10 o'clock, I'm finished in the office, go back in the house, and I like just to have an hour or two just myself. My wife's gone to bed by then, so I like just to have an hour or two downstairs, maybe with the dog on the couch, and I don't watch TV, so I'm just going through YouTube. And it struck me a wee while ago. I was like, I've not seen anything from Lamb Chops or Dickie Vegas, TMF, all the regulars that used to be in my feed all the time. So I did exactly what you just said. I went to their accounts and had a look, and it's like, oh, they're still putting stuff out, but it's just not coming up on my feed. And then after, because I did that, it's now crops up in the feed again, and you're like,
you go through, you like a few, and then it starts sending you them again. The best thing to do, I find, is to put stories up, because stories always go to your followers, don't they? They always queue up for your followers at the top. So you can put a post up, and then it won't do anything much until you tag it in your story, and then all your followers go, oh yeah, he's got a post up, and do it that way, So stories still have a significance, I guess, there. But it's hard work, isn't it? Like I said, it's like you go home, you finish, you're doing what you're doing in the workshop, and then you go home and you're spending all night, sorry for the language, fucking about Instagram. You look up and realise you've got 2 kids and a wife that need something, It's like,
that's got to be hard, man, with a family as well. I'm very lucky, because I've just got my missus, and 9 times out of 10, if I look up, she's on her phone anyway, looking at cats and jumbo sales and whatever it is she looks at, car boot sales. That's got to be hard, trying to balance that.
It is, and I have been, recently I've been quite busy, and because of the launch and everything like that, and my family understands that. But the upside of being self-employed is that I get to pick and choose when I work, and I can do things like the school runs and and stuff like that when I want. So I'm still making time for my family. And I said to myself last year that I can't be going down. I have to have at least my Sunday back, if not my Saturday and Sunday. And I try really hard not to work. Sometimes I'll come down here on a Saturday morning, but Sundays is always, family time. Yeah. And if you don't tell yourself to do that, you end up spending your life down here. Like it's Friday night and I'm in here speaking to you.
But that's true though, isn't it? You do have to remind yourself, hang on a minute, this is my passion. And I think it's very easy. It certainly happened to me. You lose the passion for your passion. So forcing yourself to take that little bit of time away, even if it is just a day, to go and, do something normal, something away from your business.
Yeah.
I have that one day, whether for me it is the Saturday or the Sunday, I have that day off, and that whole day I'm going, oh, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. But it means that the next day I'm back in, I come back down into my office, I'm like, right, let's crack on, let's get this done. So it gives me like an impetus, a kickstart to get going with it again.
I mean, last Sunday it was, and it was the best day I've had in a long time. And we didn't do anything special. My brother's just come back from Hong Kong. He works in Hong Kong, and the kids love their Uncle Andy. And he came over, and all we did is we had a wander around the Licorice Festival in Pontefract, and then we took a football down to the green. We just kicked a football around for hours with the kids, and it was one of the best days I've had in a long, long time. And I sat down with my wife at the end of the night, and I went, oh, that was just the best day, And I felt,
and they'll remember that as well, man.
At ease, My little boy has just gone crazy into football, and he's got really good at it, and his confidence has soared because he was a COVID kid. My little boy, you know, it was at a really important developmental stage when COVID hit. So he wasn't in school; he was at home.
Aye.
And we can see that how that affected him. And he was very shy and very withdrawn. But all of a sudden he's got into football, and his confidence has just soared. And it's amazing to see, you know, slide tackling you.
How old is he?
7 years old now. But yeah, he's putting in these 2 boot slide tackles on you. And, you know, he's in nets. He likes playing goalkeeper, and he dives and he puts himself in for really hard shots. Yeah, it's just like, I was never a footballer, right? But, you know, he's like fully embraced it. Yeah.
Oh man, that's your pension. Get him into an academy.
Well,
that's a pension sorted.
That's it, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah, son, remember your old boy. Dude, do you fancy tackling some questions? We've got some questions over on Patreon to go through.
I'd love to, yeah. Go on.
Right, okay. So, you've done this before. Questions always from me, same one as before. I describe Bru Time as a relaxed conversation podcast exploring what it really means to live your life through honest conversations with people who choose more. When you hear that, what does choosing more mean to you?
Wow.
Now, you answered this last time, but you can't remember, so let's see.
I don't know. It's probably different to how I answered it last time. I wasn't happy in my work, and it broke my heart because I've always been creative. I was, for those of you that don't know, I was a musician by trade. And I'd spent my whole life being a musician. I was on the professional circuit in my 20s. And then the lifestyle got on top of me, and I had a music degree. I've got a bachelor's degree in popular music and jazz, if you can believe such a thing. And I've got master's credits too. And the lifestyle, I was doing a lot of work. I was a rhythm sectionist, and then I was doing a lot of work in nightclubs in my late 20s, and I was going around Europe with DJs and playing in those, you know, funky house environments, and the lifestyle just got on top of me, and I broke. I thoroughly broke. I picked myself up, and I thought, like, how do I make use of my degree and everything? And I went back to studying, and I got my teaching degree. So I topped it up, and I got fully qualified teacher status. So I got into education, and I absolutely loved it, and I was good at it. I think it was because I came from a professional background. I wasn't a professional teacher. I was a musician first, and then a music teacher. And I quite quickly got head of department, and I got into management, and that's when the system broke me, because it wasn't, you know, we've spoken about this before, haven't we? That it wasn't about the kids. It wasn't what I was passionate about. It wasn't about creativity. It was just about point scores and league tables. And that broke me, and I was like, what can I do? Because I felt trapped in education. You know, that's all I knew. And then I found this. My creativity took me to bike building, and I approach bike building with my creativity, which is why I think I'm fairly successful at it. Is that right? Is that okay to say?
Of course it is.
Because I have a creative streak, and I know I'm on the spectrum, and I've never, you know, I'm a Gen Xer, and I wouldn't dream of burdening the NHS with a diagnosis, you know, diagnosing an old man, because I worked for SEN departments. My wife works is a teacher. She works for residential departments. We both know I'm massively on the spectrum. We just get on with it. I've spent 50 years learning how to cope. And I think that obsession, that sort of meticulousness, that sense of order, and all of that creativity, that's where I found bike building, and that's what more was. I think if I'd have kept in education, there was a point where I was so low, I don't think I'd have been around anymore if I'd have kept. I'd picked my wall out on the way at work, and it's a hard thing to say. So yeah, I was at a low, and I was at this. I need to find a way out. I need to find a way of being creative. I need to find happiness again, and that's what I strive to do with a lot of support from my family. I don't know whether that was the right answer to the question, but that's.
Mate, if that is the answer that. Yeah, but if that's the answer that's come to your head, that's the right answer for you. Yeah. It's a personal thing, isn't it? So it's an entirely personal thing.
It just I had to choose more, I guess.
It's being fulfilled by the sound of what you're saying. It's being fulfilled personally at whatever that is. It's knowing what will fulfill you, like you as an individual. It's knowing
it's just
what
doing
that
something
is
meaningful and creative. I think it's heartbreaking when creativity is undervalued in our society, and it's strange that I saw something the other day where it's like a CEO of a company makes a decision and everyone has to go with it. If you're a creative, you have to try and convince like 30 other people before anyone will listen to you. It's like, that's backwards, isn't it? That's so backwards, but that is how our society is. If you're a numbers guy, or you make a decision, everybody jumps. But if you're a creative, you have to convince everybody around you that it's a good idea before you do it. That's
maybe not so much.
Have you seen me bottle opener, Bruce?
It's all chunky on that. What is it?
This is the best. This is one of those, when you walk out of a DIY shop and you're about to pay and you see something at the tills and go, I want one of those. This was on the till at B&Q the other day. And look, it's got a little bottle over it. It's a scraper or a murder weapon. And and it's got a little bottle opener on.
Gosh, there we go. Happy days.
Yeah. Sorry, I completely derailed a very serious conversation.
No, don't worry about that. Retracing a few steps, you're saying about being on the spectrum. The older I get, the more I think to myself, do you know what? I think everyone's on the spectrum. It's just varying degrees.
I mean, the spectrum's very vast and diverse. But as I said, I used to work very closely with SEN departments. My secondary department was the head of SEN. And we were specialist department. And being music, we were very, very good at it. And working with special educational needs was always a passion. And working with troubled young men as well, which is something I was always very passionate about. But the more I got into management, the less those things mattered, and that's what broke me. But all that experience, and being educated in autism and special educational needs, you see it in yourself. It answers questions about your childhood, and you go, that's why I was like that. Yeah. That's why I did that. That's why, but on the other hand, like I said, I'm a 50-year-old man. I have no business burdening the NHS with this. I've already learned how to cope with it and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. What would they do for you?
there will be hundreds of thousands of men our age, men and women our age, that were missed diagnoses at school, that would have, if they'd gone through the system nowadays, would have definitely had one, had an EACP or something, just because of the generation and the advancements of the knowledge.
My dad's one of them.
I don't. Well, you're right. Okay.
My dad is like a Rain Man for facts and figures, for like mathematics and stuff like that. He didn't start using a calculator till probably the 90s. And by that point, computers are there, and he point blank refused. And he was basically forced, I think, late 90s to do a course to just figure out Excel, because he did everything by hand. And my dad worked, with Total, Shell, the big, massive oil companies. He was a quantity surveyor for them. So he's dealing with, like, back in the 80s, multi-million, billion-dollar contracts, and he's doing it all by hand, because that's the type of guy he is. You'd come in really early and he'd be the first in, the last to leave the office, and he'd do everything by hand, and he would check everything, just because that's how he was laser focused on that sort of stuff. Yeah. I mean, he's plainly on the spectrum.
You're talking about that, yeah. That's like the typical sort of what we call high level autism now. It used to be called Asperger's, right?
Yeah.
So those, so those sort of traits people see, and it's high functioning. It's high functioning.
Yeah.
Autism.
In my mum's immortal words, but Bill, you're just not right. That's what she used to say.
Yeah, well, it's our generation, isn't it? And that's why I said I don't think, if we've got this far, we've learned to cope, and I see it. Like stupid things, like I repetitively watch series. I don't know whether I should divulge this, but this is one of those things. There's a series, an animated series called Archer, right? And there's 14 seasons of it, and it's a bit like Family Guy, but it's more like in that style, but it's James Bondy type spy comedy. They're like secret agents, right? And I've watched that through, and it's purely a comfort, repetitive thing. Every night before I go to bed, I watch 2 episodes of that. And I've been through, I can't sleep unless I've watched 2. And I have been through that. I must have been through 14 seasons, like hundreds and hundreds of times. I've seen it. I know them backwards. I can speak entire episode. It's weird. It's weird. But it's that comfort thing. I don't watch it because it's exciting or it's funny. It's not funny anymore because I've seen it so many times. It's just a repetitive, compulsive thing I've got. And I sometimes do the same with things like Blackadder, or I'll just go into a phase and I'll watch them over and over and over again, like those old shows that we grew up with, just to take me back there for a bit,
Yeah.
So,
like a comfort thing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Rewatching the same thing, listening to the same music, that, like, it's weird, yeah. Those little things that you notice. And then when you learn that that's a trait and you start thinking back and, just triggers so many things from your past. Yeah, you go, all right. But yeah, like I said, 50 years old, and coping strategies and all that sort of stuff. If you're still around and you're doing well at 50, then I don't think we all need to be rushing off trying to get diagnoses. I don't think we need to put any extra strain on the NHS that is already, bursting at the seams because of this influx in people wanting diagnosis and, for the wrong reasons.
Else, yeah. But you can turn that to a superpower, can't you? In that you can turn that to your advantage. And the reason I'm saying that is, I don't know if you've heard of him, Tom Stoltman. Have you heard of the Stoltman brothers, the Scottish strongmen? You ever heard of them?
Yes.
Right.
I think
so.
I have.
Tom Stoltman He's been multiple world's strongest man, massive, huge giant of a man. So is his brother. And Tom Stoltman has reasonably severe autism and was pretty much a recluse, but it was his brother that dragged him along to the gym when he was like 14, 15 as a way of, just trying to get him to interact with people. And he used to turn up at the gym with his hoodie pulled all the way up like that, but he would work and he would graft away. And he found solace in working at the gym. And he's a big old lump, so he's got natural genetics in him, which obviously meant he started to excel at the gym. He started to be able to lift heavy weights and lift heavier weights than his brother, who's like 5-6 years older than him. And he started excelling, and that laser focus that he has, if he's into something, it's all in. And he's turned around himself now and he's like, my autism is my superpower. My autism is what's got me to the pinnacle of what I've chosen to do.
It absolutely can be. I mean, when I get like that, it's when I do my best work. It's when I throw out the Northmans and the Hockenheim. And when I get so involved in a project that I can't look up, that's when you do your best work. What the killer was for me, and this is probably why, is when somebody's on at you all the time. Where's my bike? Can you do it like this? I need it to be cheaper than that. All that sort of stuff. That's when I turn off. I'm done then. It's like the more somebody pesters me, the less I want to do it. The more somebody's trying to get more out of me for less. As soon as I turn off, I find it really hard to get back in. And then I start hating the project. And
I'm exactly the same. The same.
And it's, and then I can't motivate. And I come in and I look at it every day and I'm like, I procrastinate. I do everything else but, and the more it's like, I don't know whether it's a rebellion or whether it's, but it can be your own worst enemy, like I said as well. Like it can be a superpower. But it's very easy to lose it and then have to move on to something else because your brain can't cope with that one anymore. And
I think I was maybe a bit flippant there. I appreciate some autism. Autism comes in all.
Oh no, I don't think you were. No, I'm not saying that at all.
It comes in a huge variety of levels, doesn't it? And like extreme cases, I appreciate it. It's not a case of just turn it to your superpower. It doesn't work like that. I appreciate that.
I've always been the same though. All my time growing up, and it makes so much more sense. It's like somebody's bugging at me, pestering me to do something. It'll never get done. If you make me think it's my own idea, this is how to manipulate Jonathan Hull, right? I have to think it's my idea.
This is my dad.
I have to think it's a good one. And my dad was amazing at that, right? But if you nag me, and it will never get done. It'll never get done. But if you turn it around, it's
my dad was like that, and as I get older, I'm like, I'm my dad. Like I see me and my dad a lot and stuff.
We all turn into our fathers, whether we like it or not.
It's interesting what you said there. Like I'm like that with my vids, and I've recognised it now, and I'm trying to address it. But I'm like you in that you produce your finished bit of content, don't you? And as far as you're concerned, that's your best effort. That's your best effort that you've put into that. And then someone comes to you with constructive criticism. Like for me, in my vids, I'll have mates that'll say, you could maybe just do this, or what about trying that? Because I'm always moaning about how long editing takes. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try? And it is like someone is scraping their nails down a chalkboard in my brain. In my head, it's just going, no, that's not how I do things. I just can't deal with it, It's like my brain won't compute any of that. That's not how I do it. It's wrong. I can't do it that way. But you can. Well, and it takes a lot for me to change.
I get it. I think one of the things I chose to, this is back to a question we have. We've only done one question and we're still
I know. That's what this podcast is, isn't it?
Just to back I forgot where I was now. I was going to backstep a bit, but I've completely lost where I was. I'll pick it up again.
Was it to do what we were just talking about?
Yeah, what were we on?
Like, we were talking about, like you were saying, you lose the passion for something once people go, can you do this? Can you do that? And then I was saying, I'm a bit like that. If people try to give me constructive feedback, it's like my brain just seizes and I can't compute what they're saying, because in my head, that's not the way I do it. You know,
Yeah,
and I
we're
know
talking
people are
about
only trying to help.
editing and all that. And I think this might be a good loop into what we were going to talk about, is that I went full in learning my craft, right? And I, like I said earlier, I obsessed with learning how to build bikes, and I took it to the extreme, and I got myself involved with as many professional mechanics, bike builders, race teams, whatever it was whatever I could absorb myself in, whoever I could be around that would enable me to learn. That's what I've been doing for the last. If I'd have spent that time learning how to edit videos and teach how the algorithm works, I'd probably have 1 million followers by now. But you know, I've got 16,000 or something on Instagram, and I've you know, every one of them. You know, I've never had to buy any followers. I've never had to punt myself out there for followers. I've never had to, you know, I don't boost posts and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, they're all there because they want to be there. And I find comfort in that. Like, they're all people that want to, you know, happy to follow my long form videos about how to do a top end rebuild on a CB or, you know, whatever. They're not fancy. They're not macho. They're not, you know, they're not, no, they're not like content. They're just me building bikes. And I hope that continues. You know, I've tried in the past to do, you know, algorithm friendly content, but it never works, and it always feels fake, and it don't feel like me. And, you know, I've just gone back to, you know, talking to the camera about and showing people what I'm doing, like I did with the 3D prints, and explaining it, the process. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, you know, goes back to my teaching days, hopefully somebody learns something.
But that's what your content is, though. Your content, that is like evergreen content. People are always going to need to know, or be looking to find out how to, I don't know, adapt that carburetor, do this weld, you know, whatever it is that you're doing content on, people will always be looking for that. Whereas some of the other glitzy stuff that you see that gets massive views, it's jumping on a trend at that time. It's the latest camera that's come out. It's the latest bike. It's whatever it is. Your stuff's always going to be there, and it's just going to tick over with views.
Well, I hope so.
People are always going to be looking.
You know, sometimes you do like you do a long form video, like I did a couple yesterday on the printing, and I know I enjoy making them, and I know they're only going to do a couple of thousand views and 70, 80 likes or whatever. And I know that when I put a pretty picture of a finished bike and me looking off into the sunset in my new Sparta gear, then it'll probably do 30,000 views and 1,000 odd likes, you know what I mean? And it's frustrating, but, you know, it's part of what you have to do, I guess. But I like just sitting and taking people around engines and hopefully teaching them some stuff. But, you know what? You asked me what I don't know whether you want to do a couple of questions before we go into the.
Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in.
What's been frustrating me recently on social media has been like, there's always negative content out there, and there's a big influence of really purposefully wrong stuff like clickbait. From overseas, so from like China and India and Africa and stuff. Like, people, you get in videos of people purposefully doing dangerous, wrong stuff in mechanics just to get people clickbaiting, and they're earning money off it, you know, TikTok and all that. So, are you aware of that sort of content?
No.
You get,
No.
You get like a 30-second And it might be, it might be somebody, I'm trying to think of an example, like somebody like fastening a brake, like trying to thread a brake up with like a brake line or a clutch cable with a paper clip or something like that. And, and it'll be a quick thing, but you're thinking that is the most dangerous thing I've ever seen. And everyone jumps in and they go, you can't do it like that. Why on earth would you do it like that? And they all start filling up
just
the
to get
comment.
engagement.
That gets engagement and that gets them paid, right? So there's tons of that. But then there's another more worrying side where I see reputable builders that are all they're trying to do is work the algorithm. And, they're putting up content for the algorithm and not thinking, is this the right way to do that? Is it safe? And I think for some of those people, there's a couple of guys, and I'm not going to mention any names, of course, 'cause it wouldn't be professional. But I saw somebody recently who's like 200 and something thousand followers, and stood on with a piece of, I'm trying not to say too much, but a piece of a bike in a vise, smacking bearings out of it with a hammer, like a big steel claw hammer, wearing a vest and all that and looking macho. And the tagline was, bike building's not all glamorous, right? It's the most dangerous thing I've ever seen. If I was at the racing team and the boss had seen me smacking bearings out of something with a claw hammer, those parts would be in the skip and I'd be taking them out of their wages. Do you know what I mean? There should be at no point in any bike build that you should take a hammer to a piece of metal. If that's all you've got left in your mental toolbox, and it's all you've got left, then you should be giving them to a professional and having them done properly. Do you know what I mean? And you have a responsibility. You can't put that message out to young builders and people out there that this is the way that we do things. Just, it might look dramatic and it might look professional. And I've done spark videos, I've done videos of me chopping a bike with sparks everywhere, or slow motion welding or whatever. And it looks lovely. It looks, it does look macho and cool, but there's a line to that. And you've got to we have a responsibility to make sure we're doing everything safe and the right way. Especially if you're building bikes for other people to ride, there's a difference between, when I was building in my shed and it was just for me, you get away with doing some silly things. I used a stick welder on my first bike, and I wasn't very good at it, but it was for me. So if the seat hoop fell off, it was my responsibility.
It's your problem. Yeah.
But if you're a builder and you are building bikes for other people who are spending A, a lot of money, and B, putting their life in your hands, because that's essentially what we're doing. What they're doing is you have a responsibility to get it right, and you have a responsibility to all those impressionable people that are following you to say, no, you don't do it like this. Yeah. This is the way. And it might not look great on the algorithm to take your swinging arm to a press and to steel press and press them out. And it takes 30 seconds if you know how to do it, but it's not dramatic. It's just psst, and flops and it's out. I mean, it's not as dramatic as all this, and
but that surely that comes back to. Does that not come back to what we spoke about before? In the people who know what you're doing will look at that and go, "He's doing the right thing. This guy knows what he's doing." Okay,
well,
you might not get
because
you might not get the reach, the dynamic, sort of shock and awe stuff.
Yeah,
yet. But
I made a conscious decision.
People look and go, "You know what you're doing."
Yeah, as soon as I did, and there's lots of us about here that lots of us that feel exactly the same way I do, and in this country we don't get a lot of it. Everybody, is pretty much on the ball, and we all make mistakes. If you put something online and you've made a mistake, then you have to own it and you have to go back. Shugley was talking about that the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah.
As long as you own it and you go back and say, yeah, I did that wrong, and this is a better way of doing it, a safer way of doing it, then that's fine. Because we all make mistakes. But at the point where I decided to go professional, and I decided, right, I'm going to start building bikes for other people, the biggest thing for me was, right, shit, I have to get everything bang on now. And that's when my learning curve went through the roof. Because there was no, you can't take shortcuts, you can't be daft, you have to know exactly what you're doing. And I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of builders out there at the minute that are not, are playing to the algorithm and not doing what's right as far as, building A, safe products, and B, the influence they have on other builders and other people. If you've got 150,000 people following you, some of them want to learn how to build bikes too. Teach them properly, do the right thing, teach them properly.
I've got to admit, I have been very lapsadaisical about certain bits in my vids, particularly bike reviews and stuff like that, where, I'm not getting caught up in the facts and figures on a bike. I try to, before I take a bike out, I try and research and make sure I know like what its BHP is, what its torque is, and the seat height, and then how big's the tag, because that's what most people ask. But I really don't know the ins and outs as to whether it's a bloody V-twin, a V4, a triple, an inline, a flat, whatever, parallel this. I haven't got a clue. Push button, bike makes noise, I ride it. How does it make me feel? That's what I try to convey. But I have had feedback from people that have gone, when I've said, oh, this is a twin, or this is a triple, or something like that, 1,000cc triple engine, blah, blah, blah. Someone's commented and gone, that's not a triple, or that's not a V4, that's a V2, or that's a flat parallel twin, or something like that. And it makes me go after the event. I'm like, do you know what? I should have known that. If I'm saying it, I should know, because it doesn't add much weight to me.
Well, if you're saying it, but it
as a
doesn't
content
matter, does
provider.
It?
Yeah, but it does.
And
I think for people that do know, they're going to be listening to it and go, this bloke doesn't know his arse from his elbow. So therefore, they'll stop watching your content.
They get to be a bit superior for a minute. But it's a similar argument to, CCs. And I like my smaller bikes. I'll happily ride 1,000 and build 1,000cc bike, as I have done. And they're a bag load of fun, but I like sitting somewhere in the middle. And it annoys me when everyone wants to know what the horsepower is, or what the engine size is, because it doesn't matter. And that was, like I said, the one thing I took away from the racing team is horsepower has nothing to do with it. It's power to weight ratio. It's like, the reason the aerial atom, I've driven an aerial atom, and they were nuts, right? But they only had a 2-litre Honda engine in. The fact was they were the weight of a go-kart. So they flew. I've never felt acceleration like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a 2-litre Honda VTEC. I mean, if you put 1,000cc BMW engine in a pickup truck, it's not going to go very fast, is it? But if you put it in a half weight, K100 like that, then it all of a sudden becomes a monster. So CCs, CCs and horsepower only matters when you relate it to weight. And same with CCs. It's like, don't matter.
Mate, I'm getting a clicking noise, a constant clicking noise.
Oh, that's me.
Are you clicking a pen or something?
I'm nervously playing with something. It's
right.
Back to what we were talking about.
I thought there was interference somewhere.
No, I'm clicking my vape.
Oh, I was trying to think to myself, what is this? Is this interference or what is
Oh,
it?
Spectrum again. Yeah. Fidget toy.
I've had people that sit and click pens and like you don't say anything during the chat, and then I come to the edit and I'm like, oh, that's fucking annoying. I wish I'd said something at the time.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, don't worry about it.
Nervously clicking that in there.
You don't need to be nervous. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Right. We will get back to that. We'll come back to that, I'm sure. But we've got 2 questions on Patreon that we should get through.
Sure. Go on. Sorry. We always do this.
There we go. MotoCAD. Evening, gents. How we doing? You all right? Question 1. Jonathan, obviously dealing with people in general isn't always easy. What's your worst experience with customers that think they know better? I appreciate you might not want to be specifics with this.
No, I'm not going to be specific. Like I said, I'm very conscious that, professionalism. Like I said, it is really difficult when somebody has a very specific idea about how they want their bike to be. And I've had a couple, one in particular, that was a bit of a nightmare from start to finish. And the customer had seen a load of Instagram pictures and wanted their bike a certain way. And they were asking me to do things, insisting that I did things that I knew were wrong. And I had to put my foot down on a couple of them and say, look, I can do this, but it's not going to be safe. And this was early doors before I had perhaps had the influence and the confidence I have now. They wanted massive oversized tires. They wanted an inch from the seat at the back, and I was like, "Well, I can do this, but we're gonna have to put so much preload on the suspension; it'll be like a hardtail."
Yeah.
I can maybe do 4 inches, but it's not going to be safe. First time you hit a bump, you're going to be off. So you have these conversations with people, and they're like, "I have to have it this way," and you've got bills to pay and things, and you have to make. That's when it gets difficult, because you don't want to disappoint the client, but you also know that you're not going to put a bike out that isn't safe, or you're not going to put a bike out that you're not happy with. So you have to very sort of carefully talk them down. I've always given the customer choices of colour and leatherwork and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'm quite strict on what I'll do and what I won't. And I'll say now, no, I'm not doing that. The other thing is, and this has cost me a lot of money in the past, and I've turned a lot of people away because they want me to. They say, I've got a this, I've got a that. Can you customize my bike? And I know there's other builders out there that will do that. I always insist on buying my own donor bike, sourcing and buying the donor bike, and it's incorporated in the price. So all the prices of my bikes include the donor bike, and I know I'm getting a good one. Otherwise, I can't guarantee my work. You can't. I made one exception. I've got one in at the moment that was a customer's donor bike, and it's 1978. It's only done 14,000 miles, and it's beautiful. It's a CB 754 flat 4, and single overhead cam, and it's a stunning bike. The frame for 50-year-olds is perfect. It's not an inch of rust on it. The engine had a compression problem. I've done a top end rebuild on it anyway because it had been sat for 2 decades doing nothing. So it needed a rebuild, top end rebuild. But yeah, so very rarely I'll make an exception on that, depending on what the story is. But usually it's a flat no. But yes, in answer to the question, I've had some very tricky customers. I've also had some incredible ones, as I've spoken about. The ones that say, here's the money, build me a bike.
Yeah, yeah.
I want a Jonathan Hull bike, build me one. And I'm like, that's the best. And that's what Northman's about for me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's why the change, to get away from that, client-led building.
So are you still doing the Jonathan Hull side of things, or is it all Northman now?
Yes. At the minute, the focus is Northman, but like I said, I've got a CB750 that I'm thinking of bringing into the Northman name, and we're about to bring. I think we need to offer a full range of CC bikes in the Northman badge. But I will still be doing bespoke projects when I can fit them in, but hopefully, being able to phase that out and just go for Northman. I don't, but it depends. I don't put a Northman badge on something unless I'm 100% happy with it.
No, mate, bro,
it has to stand for something, right? Apart from anything, it's a £700 badge. So it has to mean something. It has to be putting that badge on the bike means this is absolutely my best work, right? That's your entire brand. That's your brand, your identity, isn't it? That's everything that you stand for. Yeah.
Good on you. Stick by it.
Thank you for the question.
Second question.
Great one.
Second question from MotoCAD. What's the weirdest thing you've searched for on the internet?
I don't think I can tell you that.
Well, if I tell you mine, because I had a wee think about this. If I tell you mine,
the other day, and my wife told me off. My wife told me off because I said this out loud, and my kids were in the room. We're all into Star Wars, crazy into Star Wars, and we were trying to figure out the name of this particular Jedi in Clone Wars. We'd seen him about, but we don't. And my little boy went, he's called Fisto. He's called Fisto Kit. And I was like, okay. And I Googled it. So I Googled Fisto. And I said out loud, because I don't know what's going to come up when I'm Googling Fisto Kit. My wife went,
look away, son. Look away.
It turns out he's called Kit Fisto, but that's a genuine Jedi Star Wars character. But yeah. So
someone had a sense of humour, didn't they?
That was the weirdest recent, yeah. I mean, what might have popped up? Yeah.
I had suspected pancreatitis, right? Which was,
bless you,
agony. And I got admitted into hospital for like 4 days, I think, over COVID. So obviously they were piling me full of painkillers, morphine and all that sort of stuff. And when they sent me home, and I came off all the pain meds, a side effect of high dosage pain medication is you don't go to the toilet for number twos for quite a while. So things had backed up somewhat. And
yes.
And there was the day when this had to come out. It had to come out. But I wasn't aware, this is disgusting, but I've spoke about it before on the podcast when I was pretty pissed on whiskey. So people have heard it who listen to it regularly. There's a thing called compacted shit, right? Where it all backs up and you create like a concrete manhole to your bumhole, so nothing's coming out now.
Word, right, okay.
Now this had happened with this medication. It's a side effect of it. And I mean, it was probably more painful than the pancreatitis, to be honest with you. It was just like, I'm going to burst here. Like, this is coming out one way or another. It's either coming out where it's supposed to, or it's going to figure out a way, and it's going to come through the weakest option. And I was home alone. My wife had gone to work. And I remember, like, it was too painful to sit on the toilet. It was too painful to stand. I was sort of like in no man's land and just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I had to Google how do you get your own poo out? You know, with pain meds. Basically, just Google that, and basically there's one option, and that is to what's the word? I'm sure you can figure it out. It involves
work it out with a pencil. There's a
involves
joke there.
basically that. Yeah, you've got to figure this out. You've got to work. You've got to either get in a bath full of hot water. We don't have a bath, so it was like, right, okay. So yeah, you just have to. Yeah, that was
Man
quite
alive,
a moment.
Bruce.
Yeah, that was quite a
that's
moment.
something to
Thinking,
Google.
I
mean,
this would ever happen in my life.
have you ever looked back through your Chat GTP chats? I've seen all the titles because mine's like all over the place. You'd have thought, yeah, it's all about bike building. How it's not. Well, who's the Jedi character in this? Yeah, what year did? Yeah,
I'm lucky. My sort of I'm using Gemini a lot now. I used to use Chat GPT, but I moved across to Gemini because that can actually look into your YouTube account because it's Google, so it has access to your YouTube analytics and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I use that
cool.
a lot now, and basically all my Gemini stuff is YouTube orientated. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't use it.
sure.
I don't use ChatGPT for bike building stuff. Sometimes, if I've got something unusual and I need to know what spark plugs it uses, then it's a quick way of doing that. But I find, at least 70% of the time, it's completely wrong. You can't trust it. You have to know. It's like anything.
Yeah,
you have to know how to talk to it, and you have to disagree with it when you think it's wrong. Yeah. And then it comes back to you and it goes, "Oh yes, you're right. I'm sorry. It's this, and this."
Yeah.
So that you have to use. You can't trust it blindly, and you have to use a bit of critical thinking. It has been very good for the 3D printing stuff, and figuring out problems with that, because I think there is such a wealth of knowledge on 3D printing on the internet. Then it's got a lot of sources to draw from. So, if I've been trying to tweak the program and think, oh, do I need to make the bed a bit hotter, or try the supports this way, then it has been quite helpful with that as a rule. Yeah,
I use it more for inspiration. So I'll finish a video, whether that's the podcast or the TeapotOne vid, and I'll get the transcription for that video, the whole transcript for it, and then I put the transcript into AI and basically say, can you analyze the transcript for this video, and give me the optimal, like 3 optimal titles, descriptions and tags for YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, whatever platform it is that you want it to do it. Yeah. And it's generally really good for it. It does come out with some utter pish sometimes. It'll come out with titles that are like 9 paragraphs long, and you have to say to it, this has to be as short as possible. Can you revamp that and make it as short and concise? And it is pretty good for stuff like that. Well, that's clever, isn't it?
Because who's got time to learn all the, how each platform works and what the algorithms are looking for. And I like that.
Definitely.
So I think, it's obviously here to stay. All these, I don't like calling it AI because it's not, it's just super fast Googling, isn't it? But
basically it's computing power, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. I think if I was still teaching, I'd be very much advising we still need to teach kids how to critically think. I think that's the biggest problem with the world at the minute is the
100%.
The demise of critical thinking, and people just blindly trust in what they see and read. You have to question it. You have to make it really think about stuff. You have to question it when it's wrong, challenge it, and make sure you draw.
My view on social media and the internet in general now is we've basically, there's some amazing content on there. There really is. But on the whole, it's tabloid. It's just tabloid content, isn't it? Yeah. It's red top content, a lot of it. A lot of it's sensationalism. I think initially social media was fantastic because it gave the normal person the platform to have a voice, which was brilliant. It was really refreshing compared to big media that we always used to see, and everyone knows they're full of shit as it is. it was really good to see normal people having their voice. And I think that was what the attraction was initially. Now,
the problem is
everyone
normal
has a
people
voice.
have got the voice.
That's exactly it. And now you're just like, what is this true? Is it fact?
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing and determining that anymore. So you just have to make your own mind up about these things by looking at as many viewpoints as possible and getting as balanced
That's
an
exactly
information
critical
source
thinking.
as you
It's
possibly
challenging.
can. Exactly, which is what we should do with everything anyway. We should never take
looking
one
for
thing
the
as
hard
gospel.
facts as well, looking for the science in things,
Yeah.
looking for the hard facts,
Challenging
looking for the
stuff.
numbers and the maths.
Yeah.
Because, you know, especially with the political systems that we've got like coming in at the minute, it's like you can debunk nearly everything by just doing the maths, you know.
Simple
and
maths a
that's-
lot of the time.
Yeah, it is, yeah. You know.
Which is what I don't understand, because at school we were taught to do that. We were taught to challenge things. We were taught
we
to
absolutely
investigate.
were. One of
And
the
where's
last
that gone?
generations to be brought up on critical thinking and going out and researching for ourselves and finding things, even when I was in
You're
my
clicking
20s
again.
doing my degree. Sorry. Yeah, I think, you know, maybe millennials as well went through that, but then it started getting watered down, and now, you know, we're just
think we're
taking
coming
things
back
at
to
face
it.
value all the time, or the younger generations are.
I really do see, I think there is going to be a big turning point, hopefully soon, but if not soon, within the next decade or two. I think we are going to yearn and actively seek out the human elements again and human interaction, long form content on media. I think people are beginning to, I was going to say turn away. They're not turning away from short form stuff yet, but they're actively looking for longer form content now. You can see it in the facts and figures, particularly on YouTube. Longer vids are starting to get more views, more longer viewer retention. Whereas people, 6-7 minutes at max was what people would hang around for generally before. And you had to hook them in the first 10 seconds, then 7 seconds, then 5, and then it went to like 3 seconds. You had to hook people.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is the older generations, because we remember from before. And I think we find ourselves, I know I do, if you disappear down a doom scrolling rabbit hole at, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you look up and you think, what the hell am I doing? Do you know what I mean?
Just
and
wasted 2 hours of my life.
You feel dirty and wrong, and you're like, I'm not what? Yeah. That was a problem. I shouldn't be doing that. I've just spent 2 hours watching stupid videos with cats and whatever. And I think the worrying thing is the children that are being brought up on it that don't remember a time before, and whether we can snap them out of it. But I think we will. One thing you should never do is underestimate the youth. I think there'll be a revolution of some description, and it'll all have to change, because I think they get it, and especially seeing a lot of them rebelling against AI in general, especially in the creative, creative scene.
My son's 29, and it was really refreshing. I was up seeing him. Bloody hell, that's nearly a year ago. That's disgusting. I went up to see him. He lives on a little island off of Skye, a wee island called Rassie. You have to get a little boat to it, that's where he lives. And he actively sought that out. He wanted that lifestyle. Weirdly, he's coming to London for next year, but he just wants to get that out of his system. But it was interesting, like where he worked at this little hotel in Rassie, surrounded by loads of like uni students who were there working during the summer. And it was really interesting sitting having a beer, with some of them in the evening and just chatting about stuff. And it's like they've gone through that phase of life in their teens and their 20s where it was just, believe social media and everything's like bang, bang, yeah. They were coming out of that and they were now yearning like more of an interaction, more of a human relationship almost, you know, like the content that they were looking for on, even on like the likes of TikTok and stuff like that. They were looking for more educational stuff now, and just something with a bit of like content to it, you know, like what rather than just sit and watch something which is basically just porn for the eyeballs. They wanted something back in return. It's like, educate me, entertain me. I want something more from this content. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to move back to people want that human connection, whether that be from stuff like yours, pieces of art that a human has actually made with their hands. I think we're going to see a lot more of that through bikes, through furniture, I think there's just going to be a return to that. I really do. I think that we're going to have an appreciation for the craft of creation. I think that's coming back. I hope that's right.
Yeah, I hope so too, Bruce. I really do. And it does, like I said, I think you never underestimate the youth. I don't think they will let things get too far. And you know, I think back to me and myself as a youth, and you know, back to your son, talking about your son. All I wanted to do when I was 16 was move to a big city and, you know, be a musician and be around people all the time and just, you know, live that sort of life. And I did. But now all I dream of is living in a log cabin in a lake in Vancouver. You know what I mean? That's the retirement. I just want to be as far away from people as physically possible.
I just put me on a house on the banks of a lake.
Me, my wife, my close family, and a fishing rod. So
brilliant.
You know, maybe a shotgun in case a bear shows up. But you know, that's it. That's it.
Have you watched that Martin Short documentary on Netflix?
I don't know whether I have. No.
Do you know who Martin Short is? The actor?
No, go on.
The comedian. American comedian. He was in... Have you seen Inner Space? Do you remember that film from the 80s, 90s?
Yeah.
So he was the main actor in that, not Dennis Quaid, but the guy that got shrunk down and went in. And then he was in Three Amigos with Chevy Chase and Steve Martin. He was the other Three Amigo.
I got you now, yeah.
Famous American comedian. Well, his family home he's Canadian, so his family home was up in Canada, and it's exactly what we just spoke of. It's this beautiful little wooden house, well, not little, but a wooden house on the banks of a lake, surrounded by like mountains and trees. You just look at it and go, that is idyllic. That is perfect. Yeah. Yes, please. That's what I want. It's just what a beautiful, beautiful, like sort of life they had there, you know, just surrounded by all their family and friends and that beautiful surrounding. Oh, wow. That's winning in life, that is. Happy days. Well worth watching. Can't remember what it's called, but it was really good.
Oh, give that a go. I was talking to my daughter about this at the dinner table the other day. And the importance of, when you're young, you want to have friends and you want to be liked. And you want to feel like you've got relationships everywhere. But I think I realized too late that one of the most important things in life is to be comfortable in your own company. And if you can, it sounds cheesy, but not like loving yourself, like, but if you are happy in your own company, then you've already won, really. If you're confident enough, and you have to be confident to be comfortable in your own company, that you don't need any, you don't need any outside influence. You can silence the voices. You can channel your own energy. If you can do that, then the relationships will happen naturally and they'll flow, and you'll meet people who are like-minded, and you'll feel comfortable. You don't have to go out and chase being liked. And I'm trying to pass that on, because my daughter's in a vulnerable stage where she's learning about social cues. She's 10, and all her mates are falling out. Some of them are growing up way too quick.
Yeah.
And then they're, halfway between kids and adolescence, and it's tough falling out with each other. And it's like, well, if they don't make you happy, you don't need to be around them. Surround yourself with people that make you happy. But first, be comfortable in your own existence.
And that's so hard to tell a young kid, especially at that age. So,
It is. I think it's a life lesson. And now, like I said, I kind of crave that. I kind of crave solitude.
I'm the same. I love just being by myself.
Dreaming about the retirement and just sitting by a lake with a fishing rod and not have to do anything. That's the dream.
Yeah.
I don't care whether, if I have to catch my own dinner. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, I actively seek that out now because I don't really get to ride the bike by myself anymore. I'm always on a tour or going somewhere to do something. Woe is me and all that bollocks. But like I've said it umpteen times on here, it's kind of the reason I do some of these like endurance rides that I do, around the UK and stuff like that. It's just because it's just you, isn't it? It's just me on a bike and off I go. I have people saying, "Oh, let me know when you're going to do that again. I'll come with you." I'm like, no. This is just me. This is me time.
I kind of live vicariously through those videos of yours because I haven't ridden hardly at all in the last sort of 6 months. And I'm starting to miss it, and I keep, start craving it. But, and I'll go out in the next week. I'm sure I will, but it probably won't be for far. But, having time to go out and ride these bikes that I've built is rare,
Yeah.
Because I'm always in
it. My wife made me do it.
I've always been a builder before I was a rider, but I'm a builder first, I guess. But yeah, I would love to just take a few weeks off and go on a big ride somewhere. Somewhere down the line.
I'm very fortunate to, although I'm moaning about I don't get the time to ride by myself, I am very fortunate that 2/3 of my year is spent riding with like-minded people on some of the best roads in the world. So, I'm by no means, what's the word? Short something. You know what I mean? Short-changed.
You're not complaining about it. Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
No, but I do enjoy watching you do that. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, there will be another one coming out. I did an around the UK on a twist and go scooter a couple of months ago, so I need to edit that. Yeah. Just trying to find the time, but I'll get that done soon.
I remember.
Right,
I think
next question.
First time we talked, you asked me, or somebody asked me, if you had to go from John O'Groats to Land's End, what would you do it on? And I said, like, I'd do it on a 50cc Honda Cub, just because it'd be ridiculous. So it was ace. I remember saying that with you. So it was nice to see you doing all the way around Britain on a little twist and go. That's ace. I love it. I
love the wee CC bikes, the 125s and stuff like that. I love them. Great fun. I've got another project in mind, which I can't talk too much about, but I have another project in mind that if it comes off, that's going to be a challenge. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
What about the Dakar Rally on a CG 125? Dakar Rally route.
Feel free. On you go. You do that.
That'd be brilliant. There's so many in Africa. You have to buy one in Africa. Yeah, you have to buy your bike in Africa and then do this. Do
the original Paris Dakar.
Yeah, the original Paris Dakar on a CG 125. Yeah.
Well, you do that. Document it. And let us know how you get on.
Yeah. Nice. Go on. Sorry.
Right. Next question. This is the last one we've got here. This one is from Andy. Evening, gents. Hope this finds you well. A couple of questions, if I may. Jonathan, how do you find working with your child? I know personally it can be a whole range of emotions in a single day.
Oh, bless you. Right. So, Jonathan Hull Son. Now, that doesn't actually mean my son works for me, I'm afraid. Yeah. So, it was a bit of
foresight, wasn't it?
Well, no, not really. It was down to my dad, right? Hull Son goes back to the early 1800s, and there was a bakery in Whitwick in Leicester called Hull Son, and it's been a family-run business since, like I said, the early 1800s. I've got photographs of my great ancestors. I've got photographs of the old horse and cart in the I think it's an 1860 on the side, and it's the Hull Son, and then the son at the time holding the reins to the horse in the full bakery gear.
Yeah.
I've got photographs of the van. The first time they bought a Ford van in the 1920s, and all of the team all looking like Peaky Blinders in front of this beautiful 1920s thing, again with Hull Son across the side. So when I was, and the building is still there down in Whitwick, the big old bakery building is still there. So when I set up the business, it was like a conversation with my dad, like, let's keep it alive. And my grandfather was a fan of motorbikes. I've got I think you've probably seen me post it, a beautiful picture of just before he went to war in second, of him sat on a lovely old motorcycle that I have not been able to identify, which is one of the plans I want to do. I've asked so many people if they can identify this bike. I might pop it up again to show people.
Chuck it in AI.
And when he came back, when he came back from the war, I've got some brilliant photographs of him and his mates on bikes. So it was like conversation with my dad. Let's keep Hull Son alive. Let's keep the business name alive. Ted, obviously, is my son currently, but he's only 7, and my daughter is 10. My daughter's crazy into bikes. She's got her own, as you've seen. She loves riding. So they might, I'm not going to force them down any route, but they might come on board at the minute. Yeah, we're called Hull Son, but my son doesn't work for me. I don't know whether that's bad, but hopefully now you've heard the reason for it. It was exactly. It's a really important bit of family legacy that we wanted to keep alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the font that we use, so the logo here, this font is the same font that they used on the van and on the horse and cart in the 1850s.
Nice.
So when I went to India, Alessandra, who designed my logo for me, I sent her all the photographs, and she came up with that design based on the original font of the Hull Son.
So have you got those pictures there in your,
I haven't
locker?
got. No, I've not got them available to show you. I'll post them in the next few days, and you can
cool.
and you can have a look.
Nice.
But they are. I'm very lucky to have them. I'm very lucky to have a family history that goes so far back on my dad's side.
No, that's cool, man.
And I'm very passionate about keeping that alive, and knowing where we came from.
Yeah, of course. Yes, it's good to keep that sort of family history alive, isn't it? Like a lot of the time, I was like that as a youngster, not really interested in genealogy and the family history and stuff. But as you get older, and then certainly after losing my mum, you're very, very aware that your time here and your parents' time here it's not indefinite, is it? So there is an end. And I've found myself like chatting with my dad now and asking all about like his family history and mum's family, all stuff that just I didn't know about growing up. It wasn't spoken about. And it's like, well, if you don't find that out now, that's just going to get lost to history, isn't it? It's gone.
Well, that's the Canadian connection as well, because we've got there's quite a few of my dad's side that emigrated at the turn of the 19th century, and they went to Vancouver in Canada. So we've got Hulls out there too. Yeah. So
have you been out? Have you been over there yourself?
I haven't. My parents went a couple of years ago, but I've not yet been out there. But yeah, just love the idea of it. It's probably different in reality, you know.
Might not be though. Might be everything you've ever thought. You might have that house on the lake. Another question from Andy. Do you find with customers they have a clear vision of what they want or just a notion? And how do you manage that? That's interesting because that ties into what we first spoke about.
Yeah, I think we've kind of covered that now, haven't we?
Yeah.
There are people that come to you, like I said, right or wrong, I have turned a lot of people down because they come on and say, I've got such and such a bike and I want you to do this, and this. That's like a no straight away from me. But yeah, we have, if somebody wants a bike, we have a conversation. And it's I prefer a video call but sometimes it's just telephone conversation. And we talk it through. So right, we'll start with what sort of CC, what donor bike are we looking for, what style, because I know that if you want a cafe racer, if you want a classic cafe racer, then you better start in with a Honda frame, because they're all nicely parallel and it all sits right, you know. If you want a more modern cafe racer sort of style with all the big upside down forks on it and all that sort of stuff, then you probably better with something like a BMW. So you have a conversation and it develops, and then you come to like okay, let's do this, and then you take it away and you price it up and you think, okay, if you want, how far do you want to go? Because that's the thing. You have to have the awkward conversation first. It's like, what's your budget? And then that dictates what you can have. Because if you haven't got 25 grand in your pocket, you don't get one of those, Because you're looking at, you got the donor bike and you've got 5 grand in the S1000RR front end. So yeah, and then another couple of thousand for the motor gadget and all the electrical system. It doesn't go far. So difficult conversations. If somebody wants one of them, but they've only got 10 grand, it's not going to happen, not even close. So, you just have to talk it through. And managing expectations, I guess. But at the same time, you want to make sure that they're getting the best bike they can possibly get.
Of course, yeah, because the end result is also an advert for you as well, isn't it? So
yeah. So if
you have to create the best that you possibly can within those.
If you're doing it on a budget, then you might suggest, right, we do a classic resto mod, because then it's donor bike and it's labour. But then you have to be very careful that if you're restoring a 50-year-old bike to brand new and modding it, but you're not using any fancy, expensive parts. You're just doing it on stock and fabrication. Then you've got to be careful that you're not ending up working for free. You've got to be very clear about, right, okay, so we're not putting 5 grand front end on it, but we do have to rebuild, restore, modify, and it's labour. So you've got to be very clear about what you cost and what you're worth to do that. So yeah, it's how long is a piece of string is the answer to that one, really. But yeah, it's complicated, which is why why I'm going down the Northman track, because I know where I am with that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's very clear. It's crystal clear what somebody's getting for the money and when. Then it takes all that takes all that away, right?
Yeah. And it's the added exclusivity, the fact that there's only, say, 5 bikes. It's a limited run, isn't it? That's
nobody else is rocking up to the club in the same bike as you've got, have you?
Yeah, definitely. Final question, one for Bruce. If you had to have one of your bikes made into a custom bike, which would it be and why? Well, there's no way I'm having anything done to the jigsaw. That's staying as is. That's never getting... It's not even going to wash that bike. It's as it is. So it would have to be the GS. It would have to be the Tractor 1300. Bloody hell! What would I want done to that? I know people have customised the 1300s, but I can't think of anything in my head.
I'm just pulling up a picture there. I'm just GS 1300.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You'll probably be sick.
How old?
I like the look of it. I like the look of it.
What year's yours?
23, first one. They all look the same. They haven't changed.
Yeah.
So you've got the GS and then there's a GSA. The GSA basically looks very, very chunky. The GS is the sort of much more streamlined look.
I'd take the first to go would be all the plastics.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that completely stripped back and then scramble the hell out of it.
Ooh.
Massively aggressive scrambler, but naked and minimal. Yeah.
How much are we talking here, Jonathan?
Oh, I don't know, but that's,
we can crowdfund this, folks. Let's do it.
That's where I'd go with that, I think.
Oh, mate, I wish I had the cash to buy one and go, right, there you go, fill your boots. I'd love to see what you do with one.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Andy, I've got no idea what I'd do to it. Yeah, I think so, because the look of that bike is so... what's the word? You know, when it really isolates people in their opinion. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Like, people either love it or they hate it. It's one of them.
Well, I mean, it's very, it's very adventure, isn't it?
But it's nothing like any of the other adventure bikes. You know, that is so different to the 1250
It's almost
design.
it's almost like a beak on it, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
From a design
they really tried to make
perspective,
it streamlined.
It's almost bird-like, isn't it? I quite like that.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'd have fun with it. I'd like to see what the bones of it are. I'd like to see what the frame is underneath all that plastic.
Yeah.
Before I made a decision on what it should be. See what it's...
Compared to the 1250, they've really stripped it down. Because when I first bought the bike, my mate Pete fully detailed it and ceramic coated it and everything. So he stripped everything off of the bike when he was doing that. And just looking at the bike without the plastics on it, they've stripped so much out of that bike to try and make it as thin and light as possible. Yeah. But things like that used to have, I think it used to have like a trellis frame at the back. Now that's solid. But there's lovely sort of sweeping lines through it, you know? I think because the 1250 was so angular in how it looked, and the 1300, they've really tried to make it flowing and sweeping to try and make it look so much smaller than the 1250 was. It's not actually any smaller, really, when you look at them side by side, but just the fairings and everything make it look a lot sleeker and sort of like it's been down the gym a little bit. And, you know, that's kind of how it looks. But I'd be interested to see what you would do with that for sure.
Still got a few things on the build list, and we spoke briefly about the Dakar recently. I'd like to do a classic Dakar bike, like just a restoration project or a
clicking. You're clicking.
Sorry. You get me on that. Like a yeah, I would like to do it with all the libraries and either a replica or a restoration, you know, of like a early 80s, you know, something big and brutish and, you know, beige and with camel logos all over it. Yeah.
That's interesting because a lot of your stuff is quite, not diminutive, but a lot of your stuff is stripped back, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah, entirely minimal. But I've, you know, that's my style. But there are little things that I'd like, you know. I've never really done a proper classic restoration either. Like brought something back to factory. You know, I'm obviously restoring bikes all the time to almost a brand new, but they always look different when they came out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it'd be nice at some point to have a crack at that. But yeah, I'd start doing it and then I'd end up chopping it to bits because that's when I get creative in the zone.
Yeah.
I was going to do a classic restoration, but...
Let's finish questions with, I've got a question for you. All going well, all the stars aligning, everything working out the way you hope. Sorry, my dog's a twat, she's barking. The way you hope things are going to go, where do you see the business going? Where do you see life taking you? Say in 15 years' time, we come back and we have another chat on this podcast.
15 years? I'd hope I'd be pushing retirement by then, mate. I'm 50 already.
All right, 10 years then. Let's go 10 years. 10-year plan.
I really want to see the Northman thing take off. I really want to just build. I want to get back to building luxury, beautiful motorcycles the way I want to build them, and putting them in the hands of people that appreciate them. I'd like to leave with a legacy. I'd like to leave with people knowing, you know, that's a Jonathan Hull bike. I've got a Northman in my garage, you know. That's don't know. Does that sound?
Mate, perfect. A brand and a legacy that your daughter takes on.
I'd like to leave. Yeah, I'd like to leave something behind, even if that is just, you know, a few people loving the bikes that I've built for them, and you know, and being proud of it, being proud to own one.
I think a lot of us we want to leave a mark, don't we? Not everybody, but I think there's certain type of people. The more
important that is, right?
Yeah, you want to feel like you've made an impression in life.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like 25 bikes on the road over the last few years, probably more like 30. And that's nice. That's nice to know that there's, you know, all these bikes on the road that I've built. But I'd like to leave behind, you know, a legacy of, you know, that Jonathan will know how to build a bike. I've got one of his first edition Northmans in the garage. That'd be nice. You know.
Well, mate, hopefully 10 years' time we'll have this conversation.
Yeah, lovely.
I'll still be making shitty videos. You'll have an empire.
No. Go on then, what about you? Same question.
Cool. I mean, I genuinely love and enjoy what I do. So I can't ever see me, other than the finances not lining up and me not being able to pay bills anymore, in which case I'll be forced to do something else. But as long as I'm able to cover my bills and have the life that you know my wife and I are comfortable with at the moment, as long as I'm still enjoying it, I hope I'm doing this because I'm living my dream at the moment. You know, I love riding bikes. I love riding great roads, visiting places, going to new places. I love introducing people to new places and new roads and new people. I love seeing people make mates, you know, through bikes effectively. And I enjoy documenting that and making vids. and that's everything I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, I would like to earn some more money for sure. It's not all about money, but I'm sort of, I'm getting by, but I would like to be in a position where I'm earning some money that I can set aside and have a little bit of security. I miss the security.
Yeah,
the
we've
financial
spoken
security.
about that.
Yeah,
but I
so
think
I would like to turn.
is-
I would like to turn this more into a business, which it's not really. I mean, it is, but I would like to. There's lots of things like I don't do merch anymore, so I need to sort that out. And there's lots of income streams that I could figure out ways of doing, but I don't. And I need to take a more professional, I think, business mind towards things than I maybe do at the moment.
It's having the time as well, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is.
So
It
when
is.
you, when you're one person or just two people, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to put all those different hats on all the time.
Yeah.
But you just reminded me that a lot of what we both do will be kind of immortal anyway because of the way we present ourselves online and the videos we make. And, when we're not here, the content will still be up there,
As long as they've got power.
Yeah, as long as we're, as long as Armageddon doesn't hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's another thing I need to do is build my apocalypse bike just in case.
Oh, mate, yeah. I'll be putting an
Yeah,
order
we
in for
should-
one of them.
Everyone that's a bike builder has a responsibility to have an apocalypse bike ready. I think, yeah. What would your
Yeah,
apocalypse bike be?
God, do you know, as I said it, I thought, I've got it. It's a blooming the tractor, like a modern adventure bike, does everything. It's the limiting factor is me because I can ride it on the road, but once I try to take that on the loose stuff, I don't particularly know what I'm doing and I'm not overly comfortable. So that's the limiting factor for me. But chuck some guns on it. I can shoot a gun, I can fire a gun, I can look after a gun, I can do all that. So chuck some weapons on it. Got me apocalypse.
I don't think I'd want anything too big for an apocalypse bike. You got to be able to get away from the zombies, right? You got to be up quick.
Yeah, that's it.
So I reckon, I don't know, some at mid-range. Don't know. Probably
But what if they're
500
traditional
scrambler of some
zombies?
sort. Pardon?
They're just like, they're not Walking Dead sprinting 28 days later after you.
That's the problem. It depends on what category of zombies you have. Yeah, if you're on a 28 days later, you need something that's going to accelerate quick, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Just
be able
on
to
the roads and
maneuver.
off you go.
Yeah.
That's
was
another
ace.
business avenue for it. Apocalypse bikes.
Apocalypse bikes, yeah. I have to move to the States then, though, so we can put Gatling guns on the side of it.
They would love that. They would eat it up.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Right, that's all our questions. We are almost 2.5 hours, man. Is there anything
Wow,
we've not
it's always
chatted
the same,
about
isn't it?
that you
We
would
just-
like to? Yeah.
I would.
Crazy.
We always end up doing this. No, I don't know. I think we've covered everything in a roundabout way, didn't we? Yeah.
All right, then. If people want to find out more about the new Northman business, where do they go? What do they do? Or if they want to find out more about J. Hull and Sons, Jonathan Hull and Sons.
Right. Well, the first protocol is the website, jonathanhull.co.uk. We also have northmanmotorcycles.co.uk and northmanmotorcycles.com. They all go to the same place. So they all head to the Northman page on the website. And that's where you can see what we've got on offer. I'm very open about the pricing. So they are all on the website. There's nothing secret. It's very clear. There's a video that talks you through how the financials work and all that sort of stuff as well. So one thing I wanted to make sure we were doing is being completely open from the beginning. So, I'm not getting bombarded with phone calls saying how much is this and how can I get that? And, all of that work is on the website. So, you only have to get in touch if you actually want one. It shows what we've got available. So it shows what's sold, what build slots are available, all that sort of stuff. So, It should give you all the information. If it doesn't and you still have questions, then you can fill out the contact form on there or send me an email at inquiries@jonathanhull.co.uk, or you can find me on Instagram at jhullmoto. There you go.
Cool.
That's it.
And if people want to come and see your work in person, are there any shows coming up that you're going to be at or anything like that?
Well, we're done for the big ones this year. I'm going to have a think about what I can still do. We invested a lot of time and money in both the bike shed events this time, so it kind of took the show budget out from under us. But I'm hoping we'll get some things at the Motorist. We've got some opportunities down south as well that we're talking to. Yeah, so I'll keep you posted on that.
Cool.
We've got some content, like I said. Doble Motorcycles are coming to deliver a donor bike week on Tuesday, so we'll have some content going out with Honda, so that's exciting. Anything else in the immediate plan? No, just watch this space. Content of the next bikes.
Well, folks, just make sure you check out the show notes. If you're listening, check out the show notes. If you're watching the YouTube vid, have a look at the description. There'll be links for the websites there and Jonathan's socials as well. So make sure you give them a like, a follow, subscribe, all that jazz.
Well,
dude,
thank you very
it's been
much,
an
Bruce.
absolute pleasure. Enjoyed chatting with you.
It's
as
so
always.
easy to talk to you, mate. It's like we just, like I said, you look up and there's 2.5 hours gone.
Yeah.
I just enjoy it.
I love doing these podcasts.
Sorry
man.
for all the clicking.
No worries. No bother at all. I'd love to do one of these in person one day, mate. I'd love, because you don't get that annoying delay. There's a delay always when you do it online.
You are more than welcome to come, and I'd love that if you came and visited me down at the shop.
That'd be cool, man. To do some
sometime.
content off at the shop.
You are more than welcome anytime you like.
Right, next
You
time.
just say the words.
Next time, let's do that. Next time, let's do it in person.
All right.
Right, cool.
Sounds
we'll
good.
do that then. Awesome. Folks, hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please tell all your mates about it. Pass the word. Spread the word about Bru Time. I'm really trying to ramp up the pod as much as possible at the moment. So tell your mates. Tell them about it. Share this link with them. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you listen on an audio platform, make sure you give it a follow, a like. If you can leave a rating, that would be amazing. Apart from that, folks, keep doing your thing. Look after those that you love. Get on out there whenever you can and live your life. Woo-ha! Dude, right. Did I say thank you to you? I did say thank you to you, didn't I?
I can't remember, but that was lovely.